The assassin's mandibles clicked in agitation as he leaned in, his voice low and serious. "You want to kill a human? Let me tell you why no assassin worth a blade will take the contract." He took a long drag from his drink before continuing. "You remember the Dealin Empire, don't you?" The client nodded, curiosity piqued. The Dealin Empire ruled half the galaxy. Hundreds of species were crushed under their boot. Serve or die, that was their way. Their war machine was unstoppable, and the Galactic Council could do nothing to slow them down. System by system, they conquered everything in their path. Then they found a system called Sol, home to a species called humans. The assassin paused, his expression darkening. The humans were divided into factions they called nations, which made them easy prey, or so the Dealin thought. They landed on Earth, the humans' homeworld, and began their conquest. Communication jammers kept the humans fractured, and the Dealin legions swept across the planet. But the humans, they fought back. Hard. He took another sip, his voice growing somber. It took the Dealin a month to claim dominion over Earth. Most pre-FTL worlds fall in a week, but the humans resisted with everything they had. And then, the real nightmare began. The client leaned in, captivated. What happened? The humans didn't stop fighting. Even after the Dealin thought they'd won, the humans waged a guerrilla war unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. They turned their own planet into a weapon, poisoning the air, sabotaging supply lines, and striking from the shadows. The Dealin poured resources into trying to hold Earth, but it was a death trap. The humans bled them dry. The assassin's voice dropped to a whisper. The Dealin Empire collapsed because of Earth. Not because the planet was a death world, but because the humans made it one. They are relentless, resourceful, and utterly ruthless when provoked. And if you kill one, the rest will come for you. Not just for revenge, they'll hunt you across the galaxy, and they won't stop until you're dead. He leaned back, his mandibles clicking softly. So no, we don't take contracts on humans. Not because they are unkillable, but because killing one is a death sentence. If you're smart, you'll drop this idea and never speak of it again. Slaves began sabotaging supply lines, disrupting communication networks, and targeting key infrastructure. The Dealin, confident in their control, initially dismissed these incidents as isolated acts of defiance. But the humans were playing a long game, and their patience was about to pay off. The first major blow came when a Dealin supply depot on Earth was destroyed in a coordinated attack. The humans had managed to smuggle explosives into the facility, and the resulting explosion crippled the Dealin's ability to resupply their troops on the front lines. This was followed by a series of similar attacks on other key installations, each one meticulously planned and executed with precision. The Dealin responded with brutal reprisals, but the humans had anticipated this. They had built hidden bunkers and underground networks, allowing them to evade capture and continue their resistance. The Dealin's attempts to quell the uprising only served to fuel the humans' determination. As the rebellion gained momentum, the humans began to target the Dealin's leadership. Assassinations, ambushes, and sabotage became commonplace, and the Dealin found themselves increasingly on the defensive. The humans' knowledge of the terrain and their ability to blend in with the civilian population made them nearly impossible to root out. The final straw came when the humans managed to hijack a Dealin warship. Using stolen technology and their own ingenuity, they turned the ship's weapons against its former masters, striking a decisive blow against the Dealin fleet in orbit around Earth. This bold move marked the beginning of the end for the Dealin Empire. With their supply lines cut and their forces in disarray, the Dealin were forced to retreat from Earth. The humans, now united and armed with captured Dealin technology, pursued their former oppressors with a vengeance. They liberated other enslaved worlds, rallying the oppressed to their cause and turning the tide of the war. The Dealin Empire, once the dominant power in the galaxy, was brought to its knees by the very species it had sought to enslave. The humans' resilience, ingenuity, and unyielding spirit had proven to be more than a match for the Dealin's might. As the assassin finished his tale, he looked at his client with a mixture of respect and caution. So you see, killing a human isn't just dangerous, it's suicidal. The moment you take one down, you become the target of an entire species that doesn't know how to quit. And trust me, you don't want that kind of trouble. The client sat in stunned silence, finally understanding the gravity of what he had been asking. The assassin leaned back, his mandibles clicking softly. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have other contracts to attend to, ones that don't involve certain death. And with that, the assassin left, leaving the client to ponder the wisdom of his request. Systems had already formed a coalition, united under the banner of freedom and armed with reverse-engineered deal-in technology. The humans, now a formidable force, had turned the tide of the war. The deal-in conquest fleet, expecting to crush a minor rebellion, instead found itself facing a fully mobilized and highly motivated enemy. The human strategy was as brilliant as it was brutal. They used their knowledge of the terrain, both planetary and spatial, to their advantage. Ambushes, hit-and-run tactics, and psychological warfare became their trademarks. The deal-in fleet, accustomed to overwhelming their enemies with sheer force, found themselves outmaneuvered at every turn. The humans' ships, though fewer in number, were faster, more agile, and piloted by crews who fought with a ferocity born of desperation and a thirst for vengeance. One by one, the deal-in ships fell. The humans targeted supply lines, communication hubs, and command vessels, crippling the fleet's ability to coordinate and sustain itself. The deal-in, once the masters of the galaxy, were now the hunted. The humans' relentless pursuit and their ability to adapt and innovate on the battlefield turned the once mighty deal-in war machine into a shadow of its former self. As the deal-in forces retreated, the humans pressed their advantage. They liberated enslaved worlds, rallying the oppressed to their cause, and swelling their ranks with new allies. The deal-in empire, stretched thin by its endless conquests, could not withstand the onslaught. The humans' rebellion had become a full-scale revolution, and the galaxy would never be the same. The final blow came when the humans, now a coalition of liberated species, launched a daring assault on the deal-in homeworld. The deal-in, confident in their impregnable defenses, were caught off guard by the sheer audacity and coordination of the attack. The humans and their allies struck with precision, targeting key infrastructure and military installations. The deal-in capital fell, and with it, the empire. The assassin leaned back, his mandibles clicking softly as he finished his tale. And that, he said, is why no assassin in their right mind would take a contract to kill a human. They are not just a species, they are a force of nature. Once you provoke them, there is no going back. They will hunt you to the ends of the galaxy, and they will not stop until you are dust. The client sat in stunned silence, the weight of the assassin's words sinking in. The assassin drained his drink and stood, his expression grim. "Take my advice," he said. "Forget about this contract. Find another target. Because if you go after a human, you won't live long enough to regret it." And with that, the assassin left, leaving the client to ponder the wisdom of his request. The galaxy was a dangerous place, but nothing was more dangerous than a human with a cause. When the deal-in conquest fleet arrived 10 systems away from Sol, they were met not just by humans, but by a coalition of all the enslaved species in the region. The humans had united the oppressed, and together, they dealt a crushing blow to the deal-in forces. This victory marked the beginning of the end for the deal-in empire. The deal-in emperor, realizing the gravity of the situation, issued an emergency recall for all fleets to return to the imperial capital. Assassin guilds, including the once mighty Black Hand, were called to assist. But by then, the Black Hand had lost 2/3 of its members to the humans' relentless resistance. Refusing the call saved them from annihilation, as 7 other assassin guilds were completely wiped out by human spies and saboteurs. While the deal-in consolidated their forces, the humans spread like wildfire through the now undefended systems. Everywhere they went, they fanned the flames of rebellion, liberating enslaved species and rallying them to the cause. The galaxy burned with the fires of revolution. The once ineffective Galactic Council joined the humans, and the deal-in empire began to crumble from within. Cut off from their supply lines and plagued by internal strife, the deal-in fleets were slowly bled dry by the humans' guerrilla tactics. Ambushes, false distress signals, and EMP mines hidden in wreckage became the norm. The humans struck like lightning and vanished into the void, leaving the deal-in forces demoralized and fractured. When the Allied fleets finally breached deal-in Prime, they found a starving and broken empire. The deal-in fleet, realizing the sheer scale of the human-led armada, surrendered without a fight. The rebellion was over, but the humans' final weapon was not violence, it was justice. Lawyers, The Dealing Emperor and his nobles were dragged before a modern court system, a stark contrast to the Dealing summary executions. The trials were long and thorough, and by the time they concluded, the emperor had died of old age. His successor was forced to make amends for the empire's atrocities. The Dealing Empire was shattered, reduced to a handful of systems in the far reaches of the galaxy. Many feared the humans would become the new conquerors, but within a year of the Dealing surrender, the humans dismantled half their fleet and scattered the rest for peacekeeping. They even allowed the remnants of the Black Hand to survive, on the condition that the guild be permanently disbanded. The humans understood the guild had broken its contract, but they showed mercy, a trait that baffled many. The assassin leaned back, his mandibles clicking softly. So you see, we don't kill humans. You kill one, and their family hunts you. You kill their family, and the entire species hunts you. And if their lawyers get you, you'll wish you were dead. They are monsters on the battlefield, but they are fair and civilized off it. They rebuilt the Galactic Council and hold the head chair to this day. They are firm but just. He drained his glass and looked at the empty vessel. Now, unless you plan to buy me another drink, I think we are done here. And remember, insult the human back, or punch them if you must. But don't try to kill them. Trust me, it's not worth it.